Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Glad to be back with you again tonight. Continuing to read in our story, By the Shores of Silver Lake by Laura Ingalls Wilder. We're already on, I think it's chapter 15. Let me see. Yes, chapter 15, called The Last Man Out. Next morning, the sun shone, but the wind was colder, and there was a feeling of storm in the air. Pa had come from doing the chores and was warming his hands by the stove, while Ma and Laura put breakfast on the table. Then they heard a wagon rattling. It stopped at the front door. The driver shouted, and Pa went out to him. Through the window, Laura saw them talking in the cold wind. In a moment, Pa came back hurriedly, put on his overcoat and his mittens while he said, "We've got a neighbor I didn't know about last night, an old man, sick and all alone. I'm going over there now. I'll tell you all about it when I get back." He drove away with the stranger, and it was some time before he came walking home. "Brr, it's getting colder," he said, dropping his coat and mittens on the chair and bending over the stove to warm himself before he unwound his muffler. "Well, it's a good job done. That teamster's the last one out. He came all the way from Jim River and didn't find a soul. Everyone along the line is going. Last night, when dark caught him, he saw a light about 2 miles north of the grade and drove to it on the chance of finding a place to stay at the night. Well, Carolyn, he found an old claim shanty and an old man all by himself. His name is Woodworth. He has consumption and came here to take the prairie climate cure. He's been living on his claim all summer and was going to stay all winter. Well, he's so feeble. It means he could hardly, take care of himself at all. He's weak. The teamster tried to get him to go, told him it's his last chance, but Woodworth wouldn't go. So when the teamster saw our smoke this morning, he stopped to see if he couldn't get somebody to help persuade the old man. Carolyn, he's skin and bones, but bound and determined to stick with the prairie cure. Said it was the one cure the doctors recommended as pretty near a surefire thing. Folks come from all over the world to take it, said Ma. Yes, I know, Carolyn. It's true enough. I guess these prairies are about the only thing that cures consumption. But if you'd seen him, Carolyn. No, he wasn't in any shape to stay alone in the claim shanty, 15 miles from a neighbor. The place for him is with his own folks. Anyhow, the teamster and I packed him up and loaded him and his things into the wagon, lifted him in as easily as if he were Carrie here. In the end, he was glad he was going. He'll be a sight more comfortable with his folks back in the East. He'll nearly freeze to death driving in a wagon in this cold day, Ma said, pouring more coal on the fire. He's dressed warmly, wearing a good overcoat. We wrapped him in blankets besides and heated a bag of oats for his feet. That would stay warm for a nice long time. He'll make it all right. That teamster's one fine fella. Thinking of that old man going out with the last teamster, Laura knew how deserted the country was. It would take them 2 long days to get to the Big Sinks River. All the way between the Big Sinks and the gym, there was nobody at all except them, there in the surveyor's house. Pa, did you see wolf tracks this morning? Laura asked. Yes, plenty of them, all around the stable, said Pa. Big tracks, too. Must be buffalo wolves, but they couldn't get in. All the birds have gone south, and the antelope are scared away by the man working the grade. So the wolves will have to move on too. They won't stay where they can't kill and eat. After breakfast, he went to the stable, and as soon as the housework was done, Laura put on her shawl and went too. She wanted to see the wolf tracks. She had never seen such large ones and deep. These wolves must be very big and heavy. Buffalo wolves are the largest wolves on the prairie and very fierce, Pa told her. I'd hate to meet one without a gun. He was looking the stable over carefully to see that every board was nailed fast. He drove in more nails to make the walls solid, and he put an extra bolt in the door. If one gets broken, the other might hold, he said. Snow began to fall while Laura handed him nails and he hammered them in. The wind blew strong and keen, but it was a straight wind, not a blizzard wind. Still, it was so cold they could not even talk. At supper in the warm house, Pa said, I don't believe the winters are going to be so bad out here. Seems like the blizzards sort of draw down through the western Minnesota. We're farther west out here, and they say 3 degrees west is as good as 1 degree south. After supper, they all gathered in the warmth of the stove. I meant by the stove. Ma rocked Grace slowly to and fro, and Laura brought Pa the fiddle box. Now the happy winter evenings had begun. I'll show you what they looked like when they were getting all ready for the day. Can you see that right there? That was upstairs in the attic, where the girls are. Okay, first song. Hail Columbian, happy land, Pa sang with the fiddle. Hail ye heroes, heaven-born band. Firm united let us be, rallying around our liberty. A band of brothers joined, peace and safety we shall find. He looked at Mary sitting quietly with beautiful empty eyes and folded hands in a rocking chair by the oven. What shall I play for you, Mary? I would like to hear Highland Mary, Pa. Softly, Pa played a verse. Now, Mary, help sing, he said, and they sang together. How sweetly bloomed the gay green birk, how rich the hawthorns bloom, and underneath their fragrant shade I clasped her to my bosom. The golden hours on angels' wings flew over me and my dearie, for dear to me as light and life was my sweet Highland Mary. It's sweet, Mary said, when the last note died away. It's sweet, but it's sad, said Laura. I like coming through the rye. I'll play it, Pa said, but I won't sing it alone. It isn't fair for me to do all the entertaining. So gaily, all together, they sang the lovely song. Laura got up and pretended to be wading across the creek, holding her skirts up above her ankles and laughing back over her shoulder, singing. Ike a lassie was her laddie, nay, they say, hey, I. Yet all the lads, they smile at me when coming through the rye. Then Pa's fiddle twinkled short, gay notes, and he sang, I'm Captain Jinks of the Horse Marines. I feed my horse on corn and beans, and often go beyond my means to court the girls all in their teens. For I'm Captain Jinks of the Horse Marines. I'm captain of the army. Pa nodded at Laura, and she went on singing with the fiddle. I'm Mrs. Jinks of Madison Square. I wear fine clothes and curl my hair. The captain went on a regular tear, and they kicked him out of the army. Laura, Ma said, Charles, do you think that's a nice song for a girl to sing? She sang it well, Pa said. Now, Carrie, you must do your share. Get out here with Laura and see what you can do. He showed them how to hold hands and step to the tune of a polka. That's a type of dance. Then he played it and they danced while he sang. First the heel, then the toe, that's the way the steps go. First the heel, then the toe, that's the way the steps go. First the heel, and then the toe. Faster and faster he played, and faster they danced with higher and higher steps, back and forth, whirling back again until they were both breathless and hot with laughing and dancing. Now then, said Pa, try a bit of a waltz, which is another type of dance. Swirl more. And the music flowed smoothly in gliding long waves. Just float on the music. Pa sang to them softly. Just float on the music, glide smoothly and turn. Laura and Carrie waltzed around the room and back and around the room while Grace sat up on Ma's lap and watched them with round eyes. And Mary listened quietly to the music and the dancing feet. That's fine, girls, said Pa. We must have more of this winter. You're grown up now and you must learn how to dance. You're going to be fine dancers, both of you. Oh, Pa, you aren't stopping, Laura cried. It's long past bedtime, said Pa, and there'll be plenty more long, cozy evenings before spring. Bitter cold came down the stairway when Laura opened the door. She hurried up the steps, carrying the lighted lantern, and behind her Mary and Carrie hurried. There was a little warmth around the stove. There was a little warmth around the stovepipe that came up from the room below, and close to it they undressed, and with shivering fingers pulled their nightgowns over their underflannels. So that'd be like long underwear. Chattering, because it was so cold, they crawled into their cold beds, and Laura blew out the lantern. In the dark, she and Mary cuddled together, and slowly the blankets lost their chill. All around the house, the black cold of night was as high as the sky and as wide as the world, and there was nothing in it but the lonely wind. Mary, Laura whispered, I guess the wolves have gone. I didn't hear them howl, did you? I hope they have, Mary said drowsily. That's the end of that chapter. Tomorrow will be chapter 16. Well, that was a fun night for them all together singing, and I'm so glad they were able to help. Pa was able to help save that man that had consumption and was so weak. Well, it's good for us to always try to help others when we can. And it's good to have fun with our family and our friends. Well, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and on yours, in your house and out of your house, in the day and the night. And whatever you do, keep dreaming. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And I keep hoping I'll get comments. They'll help my channel grow. All right. Good night. God bless you.